J.Robert Oppenheimer was probably one of the most important physicists in the world. He never got the Nobel Prize, but he changed the world a lot in comparison to any other Nobel Prize winner. He changed the world a lot in his leadership. The best physicist of the 20th century changed the map of World War II by making the world's first atomic bomb, from where Oppenheimer was made, the father of atomic bomb.
Now I have become death, the destroyer of worlds.
He was born in 1904 in New York in a Jewish family. He completed his PhD at the age of 23. He was one of the best physicists of his time. His contribution was very important in new discoveries. But Oppenheimer did his PhD in 1927 from the University of Göttingen, Germany. There his friend Heisenberg became a smart person like him, but who knew that after 15 years, they would become enemies for each other, for their own country, because of the race to make the world's first nuclear weapon. 1939, Germany attacks Poland for invasion, after which France and Britain attack Germany. On the other side, the Soviet Union comes to support Germany and World War II begins from here. Now the people who are capable, they leave Germany and run away. Whether they are doctors, engineers, or scientists, one of these scientists was Albert Einstein, who ran away to America. After going to America, he tells that Adolf Hitler is working on nuclear weapons program. He wants to make the world's first nuclear weapon. If he is successful in doing this, he can destroy the world. This thing reaches American President Franklin D. Roosevelt, after which he also thinks that we should do research on this as soon as possible. But America's entry into World War II has not been done yet, so it was not as serious as it should have been. But on the 7th of December 1941, Japan makes a mistake by attacking the Pearl Harbor of the U.S. Navy, from where the matter becomes serious, and Roosevelt, in the beginning of 1942, gives permission for nuclear research that now we have to make an atomic bomb. And he puts all this work on the U.S. Army, which names this project the Manhattan Project. Now the best of the best researchers are recruited for this project. Oppenheimer is also one of them, but his problem-solving ability and knowledge were amazing, not only in physics but also in chemistry, engineering, metallurgy, and all these things. He is appointed as the director of this project with the huge task of developing the world's first nuclear weapon. To keep the Manhattan Project a secret, its laboratory is set up in Los Alamos, New Mexico, so that if there is any suspicion of an enemy attack, it can be reduced to a lot in these areas. And if anything goes wrong in their project, then the lives of the innocent people will be lost. Oppenheimer had estimated that he would get 8 to 10 scientists, engineers, technicians for this project. But Roswell wanted results, not research. But as an atomic bomb, he gave 764 scientists to Oppenheimer, out of which only 302 were working in the Los Alamos laboratory. But in total, 600,000 people were involved in the atomic bomb. This is how you can know the seriousness of this matter. But you will be surprised to know that all these researchers were working on nuclear reactor, how nuclear reactor can be made. Because if nuclear reactor can be made, then nuclear bomb can be made also. The only difference between both is that how many new neutrons, how many atoms will be hit, and how many new neutrons will be made. For example, if the average of a neutron is less than 1, it means that there will be no chain reaction. But if the average is of 1 neutron, it means that it is a self-sustaining chain reaction. But it will not increase much, it will remain stable. But if the average is more than 1 neutron, it means that this chain reaction will keep on increasing, and this is what is needed in an atomic bomb. But some scientists were concerned about nuclear bombs, that it could destroy the world, because the explosion of nuclear bombs would result in high temperatures, and it could also create a fusion on Earth. Because on average, 1 part of every 20 million part of our atmosphere is hydrogen gas. So this was the concern, that if nuclear bomb explodes and high temperature and pressure comes out of it, then fusion will start with these hydrogen gases, due to which our Earth will become a giant fusion bomb. But this theory is disliked, no scientist takes it seriously, and the Manhattan Project is kept continued, and finally after 3 years, July 16, 1945, when the day of the world's first atomic bomb testing comes, the code name of the testing is Trinity Test. All preparations are complete and this bomb has to be detonated at 4 a.m. But suddenly a storm comes, due to which it is delayed a little. And at 5:30 a.m., the world's first atomic bomb is detonated. As soon as the detonate is done, the explosion of the atomic bomb squeezes the plutonium inward, which causes the chain reaction of the neutron to start, and boom, the nuclear reaction shows its effect. and this is the first atomic bomb explosion in the world. Only 6 kilograms of plutonium reaches 25,000 TNT. The whole of New Mexico gets lit up at 5:30 a.m., which never happened in the afternoon. The heat generated by this makes the soil of New Mexico a glass, which is also called tinitite. The shock wave generated by this is felt up to 160 kilometers away, and the mushroom cloud created by this 12 kilometers in height. After this test, Oppenheimer knows what he has made. This weapon can destroy humanity in a snap, after which he feels very demotivated. So someone gives him a suggestion of Bhagavad Gita that you should read this book. He gets motivated by reading it, and during an interview, he also recites a shloka of Gita.
Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him, takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Now America has become the most powerful country in the world. They have a weapon that can destroy any country in a moment. America tries to convince Japan that they should surrender, but Japan doesn't. After which, on the 6th of August 1945, the first nuclear attack on Hiroshima is done, which is little boy. After this 3 days, America kills its fat boy nuclear weapon on the 9th of August 1945 on Nagasaki, after which, with these 2 attacks, more than 200,000 innocent civilians are killed, and Japan surrenders in this way, and the end of World War II happens. After World War II, Oppenheimer becomes a national hero. He is honored with many positions, like he is appointed director in Institute of Advanced Studies. He is made chairman in General Advisory Committee, and he is given many positions in many departments. In August 1949, Soviet Union tests its first atomic bomb. U.S. military thinks that we have to make a more powerful bomb than this, which will be a hydrogen bomb, but Oppenheimer was against it. He knew that nuclear race will start from this, but another physicist, Richard Lawrence, designed it, and 3 years later, in 1952, Ivy Mike's test was on the Marshall Island, and its explosion was 10.4 megaton TNT, which means it was 400 times more powerful than the Trinity test in 1961. The Soviet Union tested the biggest atomic bomb in history, which was the Tsar Bomba. It was 5 times more powerful than Ivy Mike, which means it was 2,000 times more powerful. So maybe Oppenheimer was worried about this nuclear race, which is why he refused to make a hydrogen bomb. But this decision taken in 1949 was against him, which led to an investigation on whether he is a traitor. The first nuclear weapon given to America was the nuclear weapon of the Soviet Union. The same thing was now being used by the American authorities. All their government positions were taken away from them. All the honorary positions they had received were taken away from them. Their security was also removed, and spies were put on them. Where do they go? Who do they talk to? What do they talk to? Are they going against America? Are they supporting any country? So things like this were happening with them, just because they didn't make a hydrogen bomb. So this way, national hero Oppenheimer was now a national villain in 1965. When the US and Soviet Union were discussing that we should not give more nuclear weapons, so in the meantime, Oppenheimer was also asked about this in an interview, so he said that after the Trinity test, and the next day, he was diagnosed with throat cancer, due to which he died on the 18th of February 1967 at the age of 62.